So we heard from Kenny Atkinson. I know you were at the press conference where he was introduced to the media. He seemed pretty confident that he has an idea of how he would make this core four work together. He wants to keep it together at least. At least if he doesn't, you don't want to play poker against him because he sure came out bluffing like he wants them together. Best guess,
Yeah,
if he keeps
right.
them together, what's that offense look like? How do you change it to make that work?
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. He that was the sell, is that we want to keep Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell together, in the sense that Kenny Atkinson said, I view it as if I have two all-star guards, and obviously the same thing with Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen up front. Want to make that work, especially with Mobley and Allen. Really, you got to figure that out offensively. Defensively, they're already elite. For years we heard how the Cavs need more rim protectors. Well, now they have two of the best in the NBA in the same front court. That's hard to find. Not many teams can make that claim defensively. So, what Kenny Atkinson's job is, as you just said, to try to figure out how to get this all to connect offensively. Now, there are times that it would flow, but, here's the thing that I thought about Kenny Atkinson making this work is we asked him about his time coaching the Brooklyn Nets, and he said, you know what, I've evolved so much as a coach since then, having been involved as an assistant with Steve Kerr and the Warriors and their offensive system and the way they make things work. It's predicated on ball movement, cutting, screening, all the old school stuff that we've seen the Warriors use throughout the years. Try to implement that now with Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen, and Evan Mobley. And that's why Kenny Atkinson got the job. During these interviews, the Cavs were saying, how are you going to make this core four work together and really flourish, and especially get Evan Mobley to that next level?
The other thing that struck me in listening to him, and it's something that I've said, his point was, Allen and Mobley are both fast and they're both mobile. You should be able to figure out a way to make that work without having one or the other hang out at the three-point line.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about Evan Mobley's first 3 months in the NBA as a rookie, he just looked so comfortable with the ball. Really, that's when he was at his best as a passer. And it wasn't about him going out to the three-point line. He was playing in the 10 to 15-foot range, which he can make those shots now. But it was really how he was kind of delivering the ball and really finding the open man. And that's kind of since those first 3 or 4 months. Then he got injured. And when he came back, he wasn't really the same, kind of hit that rookie wall. And his numbers have increased every season slightly. But the Cavs believe that Evan Mobley is potentially an all-star. How do we get him to that all-star level? And it doesn't mean going out and hitting threes and spreading the floor that way. It just means that helps, don't get me wrong, but it just means, how do we get him back to seeing and feeling comfortable with the basketball to where he's almost like a point forward, which is what they envisioned as him. And as somebody who's 7 foot tall, that would be invaluable. So, I think that's a big part of what they want to do. And they do believe that Allen and Mobley can work. And here's the one thing too, Dave. Jarrett Allen's a double-double machine and doesn't need the ball. He doesn't even care if he gets the ball. So I think that that's something that the Cavs keep in mind too, as a reason that can work offensively.
Yeah, the one thing I would say, they got to figure out, Evan Mobley needs a kind of a signature offensive part to his game. We don't know what that is yet. He's a guy that he can run a little bit, he can shoot a little. Find something that he does that the defense can't stop, and then let him go to it. And there has to be several things in his game.
Yeah, I know the Cavs, and that's another thing with Kenny Atkinson, bringing in Kenny Atkinson, is you're hoping to see something like that, where it's, Evan Mobley has the spin move a la Hakeem Olajuwon with his back to the basket, where, they want him to have that signature move, or maybe it's a 10 to 12 foot guaranteed jumper that if you don't go out on him, he's knocking it down every time. So there are various ways that they want to see him evolve his game. And that, again, was a big part of this interview process where they're interviewing all these coaches after the season. One of the big questions is, what are you going to do to get Evan Mobley? All things, being the same as they are, the roster is the same as it is. We're keeping the core four. What are you going to do? How are you going to get Evan Mobley to reach really his potential? Maybe not right away, but at least get a lot closer to that. And he's been inching toward that, Evan Mobley. What the Cavs want is for him to take that huge step within the next year or two.